Happy Friday. It is Dr. Katrina Esau, the creator and founder of Whole Wives Healing Openly, Leaving Him Exalted. And I just wanted to pop in today and just share a little bit with you all and encourage you, actually. I've had a couple conversations with a few clients, and I don't know. It's just there's so much when you talk about infidelity and the remnant of it, like just all of the side effects of it, the hurt, the pain, the shame, the guilt, all of it. It's just sickening. But it's a common thread, whether I'm talking to a client, a potential client, whether somebody's commenting on a post that I've put out there, casual conversation, whatever. There's a common thread in that, women have these unspoken expectations, and I talk about them, occasionally, where, unspoken expectations will tear you down because you're expecting somebody to do something. They don't know that you're expecting it. And then when they don't do it, they didn't know they were supposed to. You frustrated, you're angry, and it's just not a good outcome for either party. And so I wanted to come on to encourage you all to think. I'm always encouraging you all to dig deeper, get off of the surface. We deal with surface stuff, or we've done it all our lives. People deal with what people can see, and you got to go deeper. It's not always so evident, easily visible. And so I want to just encourage you to know that you can't control the outcome. You can't control how another person will respond. You can't control how they will perceive you or what you are doing. And so you just have to be clear on what your expectations are, and make sure not only that you are clear on what you're expecting, but make sure you communicate them. Don't expect people to read your mind. Don't expect that, we've been married for 15 years. He should know. We've been together 20 years. We got a child together. How could he not know? Did you tell him? That's why you don't know, because you ain't tell him, and then, we live, our lives change. There's different seasons. There's 4 seasons. Some places you live, you don't get to see all 4. I'm in Florida, so it's almost one season. Summer is always hot. It's hot and hotter. But there's winter, spring, summer, and fall, so there's different things. There's different seasons. We change, and you got to be equipped. You got to be prepared for every season in your life. It's not always going to be summertime. It's not always going to be, spring, where stuff is growing and being refreshed and renewed. It's not going to always be there. You're going to have some moments where it seems like everything is dead. You're going to have those moments where everything is rigid and cold, and you feel like, I don't even think we're married no more. We are, roommates. You have all these different seasons, but because you're walking through a different season doesn't mean you give up. You don't give up life. You don't give up hope. You keep moving. You have a plan. And the way that you can create a plan is number one, you got to have a conversation. You got to have a real conversation with yourself, and you got to have a conversation with your spouse, your significant other. So, and be clear, very clear about, what you want, what you're expecting to get. And another reason why I think it's really important to share your expectations. And not even if you, not necessarily, let's take a step back. So before you even share them, making sure that you are clear on what you're wanting. So for example, if you're going into a conversation that you have to have with your husband, and that it is a heated topic of conversation, are you going in to prove that you're right? Are you going in with the expectation that you're going to walk away that I was right, he was wrong? Are you going in to find common ground? Are you trying to meet in the middle? Are you coming to be heard? Are you coming to be understood? Or are you coming to that we can have a meetings of a mind, and maybe we can have a shared understanding? We may both walk away saying, I agree to disagree. There might not be an agreement. What are you expecting out of the conversation? What are you expecting to get? And if you're not clear about that, it can make it very frustrating for you. It can make it hellacious for you. And so, even as you're going about life, you're walking this thing out and you're trying to heal. Like, have you made a clear decision on what you are wanting? What are you working for? Are you working toward one common goal, which is to heal and to see your marriage restored? Or are you still on the fence saying, I want it restored? I believe God said this is the person I'm supposed to be with, but I'm not sure. I get so mad. I get angry. I shut down. We're not sleeping in the same rooms. I don't want to talk to him. I put him out. He asked me to leave, or I chose to leave. Like, where are you in the process? What decisions have you made? What are you expecting to get out of where you are? The one thing about it, we always say it takes time, and I am guilty. I say it does take time, and it does. But if you're not doing anything in the time, next year going to come and go, and you're going to be exactly where you are today. So yes, it takes time. Time heals all wounds. But if you're not doing anything productive during that time, don't expect to see something tomorrow. If you're not planting any seeds, if you're not watering the plant, if you are not pruning the plant, don't expect to see a harvest. The same is true with you. If you are not pouring into you, if you are not making the necessary investments into you, then don't expect to see lasting change. And when I say investment, people shut down and they cringe and all of that kind of thing. Investment is more than money. Are you spending necessary time to build a relationship with God and to hear what He is saying? Are you setting that time aside? Are you taking time to read your word? Are you taking time to journal? Are you taking time to take a course? If you know you have anger issues, are you taking courses around anger to help you identify the root cause of your anger and how to overcome it? Because if you don't ask yourself these tough questions, and if you don't get to the root of the issues, you don't get the privilege of finding out the jewels and the different things that are hidden that God will reveal to you. And once you see the root of a thing, you can chop that bad baby down. But if you keep dealing with the little leaves and, they're going to wither up and fall off, or you keep just, want to see the beautiful flower. No, you got to get to the root of it. You got to get to the root of your issues. It's one thing, to be talking about abandonment and rejection and things along those lines, but you got to get to the root of why. And if you don't ever address the why, if you don't ever address the root cause, you're going to always be dealing with symptoms. And symptoms change, they fluctuate. I don't want you to have, temporary success. I don't want you to have temporary relief. I want you to have complete and total healing so that you can get to the other side and enjoy this thing called life, that you can have joy unspeakable, that you can be in a place where you know that you know who you are. You don't have to be guessing. When you're walking through infidelity or the pain of it, you sometimes second guess who you are. Why wasn't I enough? What did I do wrong? What could I have done differently? Why would he violate our union? Why would he, bring this in here? Why would he abandon me? Why would he betray me? We go through all these things. And the sad part is when we press play on that movie, somehow the stop button and the eject button gets broken, because we literally have that thing on repeat, and then we're hearing it and playing it and rehearsing it over and over again. And we are the best producers when it comes to that kind of stuff. We don't even have to have the full picture or know what all happened and all of that stuff. We'll create our own movie. We'll produce it. We'll edit it. We'll direct it. We'll do all of it. And you are miserable, you are hurting, you are bleeding, and you say, I want to stop the pain. I want to stop hurting. Why can't it just stop? What are you doing? What actions are you taking? Are you doing any work? Or are you so focused on, well, I just want it to get better. I want the marriage restored. I want him to what he did. I want him to change. You can't change nobody but yourself. We don't have that ability. We don't have that power. So you have to focus on you. What can you do for you? What can you do to change how you are responding? What can you do to change so that there's not such a ripping and a tearing, that you're not constantly having to cry yourself to sleep at night? You have to ask yourself these questions. Please understand and hear my heart. I've been where you are. I have been where you are, and it took me time. It took time for me to get to a place to where it didn't hurt anymore. It took time for me to get to a place where I could have, a trigger can occur and I don't respond negatively to it, where I can think about a situation and I can laugh about it, where before I cried about it. It took time. It took almost 8 years. Now, part of that 8 years, I share this all the time. So if you've listened to anything or followed me for any length of time, you know that the first 6 years of that was 3 years because we were separated. The other 3 years he was in prison. And then when he came home, that's when the real work started. But not only that, it was in my actions, because for the first, I don't even know how long, when it first all started and unraveled, I was so hurt and broken and distraught. I wanted a divorce. I was, trying to get a divorce. I tried 3 times, really, and so I was just all over the place until I got the revelation and got the guidance from God of, okay, now you can get out of this, but if you do, your daughter gonna have to fight it. And so when he gave me that revelation, then it was like I bunkered down and I made the choice to fight. Divorce could no longer be an option, but that didn't mean I didn't stop having emotions. That didn't mean that I was, didn't want to. But I knew that I couldn't. I could not consider that as an option. That could no longer be an expectation. I had to do what was in my power to make it work. And the only way that was going to happen is God had to deal with me. He had to fix me. I had to cleanse myself. I had to deal with the hurt, the pain. I had to deal with unforgiveness that I had toward my father, that, as I've shared with you all, I didn't really know existed there, but it was because he left me and my mom and my siblings. So there was different things God had to reveal to me, my issues with trust. There's a lot of different things that happen in the process. But if you are not having real conversations and being truthful about where you are in the process and how you feel about it, you don't have to pretend. You don't have to walk in shame. You don't have to be guilty. You don't have to do any of those things. Own who you are, what you are, and what you are feeling. Own your emotions. They were given to us for a reason, but you should not be controlled by them. And if you have to get counseling and assistance, then do that. I had to do it. I had to get individual counseling because I was all over the place. My emotions had me jacked and they were driving me stone cold crazy. So, I know it's only by the grace of God that I'm here today. And, I'm not in a sane asylum. I'm not strung out on drugs. I ain't in prison because I ain't hurt nobody. It's only by the grace of God. And I'm honored, that God will choose me to be able to help you, to be able to pour into you. He knew that when all of this stuff unraveled in my life 17 years ago, that there was going to be a Stacy that needed help. There was going to be a Patricia. There was going to be a Lisa. There was going to be a Robin. There was going to be a Roberta. There was going to be a fill in the blank. Put your name in there. He knew that there would be people that would need help, that would need someone that would open up and share her story and do it in a real, raw, and vulnerable way and tell the people the truth and help people know that I wasn't always like this. It was a process. I had to get to this point. And these are the things that God showed me and allowed me to do and to walk through. And that's how I got to where I am today, to where I can help women across this nation. It's not a local call. It's a nationwide call. It's a global call, because whether you're in the US of A, whether you're in Haiti, whether you're in Bangladesh, whether you're in Asia, Europe, Dubai, it doesn't matter where you are. Infidelity, it crosses barriers. It crosses cultures. It does not discriminate. And there are so many women. Somebody said to me a week or so ago, she was like, Katrina, I hate to say this to you, but have you ever considered the women that have committed suicide in other countries because they didn't have a Dr. Katrina to share? I know I can't control that. I have no dealings with that. But that thing hit me and it was like, oh my gosh. And I'm already sharing, I'm already doing my part, but it just helped me to see that it's that much more important for us to get healed, for us to share our stories, because somebody is counting on you to open up your mouth. Somebody is counting on your story so that they can lift their head up off the bed. Somebody is counting on your story so they can know, well, if she did it, I can do it. That God is no respecter of person, that if she's on the other side of this thing, I can get up and do it. And we have to do that for one another, because we see these relationships that's been together for 30 and 40 years, and all you hear people talk about is how wonderful it is, how glorious it is, how much they've loved the whole time. They ain't never had an argument. They ain't never had the devil is a liar. Relationships are work. Marriage is work. It's commitment. There's going to be some ups, there's going to be some downs, but you have to be fully committed to it. And you got to know what God is saying concerning your relationship. Should you have ever even been in that relationship? Did he tell you not to show up at the altar and you did? Did he give you different exits? Because he said, I'll make a way of escape. Did he make multiple escape routes and you chose not to go? That's why it's important to have relationship with God. That's why it's important to make sure you are communing with God, because you need to know what he's saying. Because if you are walking in what he has ordained for your life, I don't care how hellacious it seems, he is going to get you to the other side. The same work that he started in you, he's going to finish it further and execute it. You got to know that you know that you know that God loved you. And he didn't bring you to this to leave you. He's going to bring you through it. You're going to get to the other side, but you don't want to look like you done been through hell. I know I don't look like what I've been through. Don't look like it. Don't sound like it. Don't smell like it. But it's only by the grace of God. I tell people I am anointed for the broken. I don't say it arrogantly. I say it confidently because I am. I know the brokenness of the pain of infidelity. I can only tell you what I know. I can only share my story. And so I just wanted to encourage you today to consider these things. Consider what you are expecting. Are your expectations reasonable? Not about your husband or your mate. Are they reasonable for you? Not that you can't do it, because through Christ Jesus, we can do all things. But if you are expecting that you are going to change somebody, you don't have that ability. You don't have that power. That is for God to do. And the word says that we win them by our actions and our behaviors. So if you found out that he cheated a year ago, 5 years, 10 years ago, and you still walking around moping, you still walking around, you giving short answers and having a nasty attitude, don't want to be in the room with him, you can't stand to look at him, that behavior ain't winning nobody. Even you tired of you. So you got to really look at what you're doing. Don't say one thing out of your mouth and your actions don't even line up with it. Do an assessment. Do an assessment and really ask yourself the question, like, what am I doing? What am I working on? What am I expecting out of this? What if I do all of this and, he still ain't ready? He still don't. It was, I think, I don't know, 4, 5, probably about the 4th year or 5th year before my husband even acknowledged and apologized for what he did. And I'm like, nigga, really? Like, you're not going to even acknowledge it. And some of us get lost there. We get stuck because he won't admit it. But you can't put your life on pause because the person won't admit it. That's them. They got to give an account for that. They have to answer for that. He came around, thank God. But I didn't put my life on pause because he didn't. I had to do the work that God had given my hands to do. I had to do the work internally. I had to heal. And so don't you sit around and wait on somebody else to give you permission to heal. That's going to be my next message right there. Don't wait around on somebody to give you permission. Don't wait. Well, I don't know what he want to do. What does what he want to do have to do with you healing? I'll wait. Nothing. Your choice to heal is yours. It has nothing to do with nobody else. You got to make a choice to say, you know what? I may have learned this from Big Mama and Mama, but this has to change. I want to be healed. I don't want to repeat what I've seen modeled before me that's been negative. Make a decision to heal for you. Do it for yourself. Don't make your healing contingent upon what somebody else does or says or validates. It doesn't matter if they're on the same page. It doesn't matter if he wants counseling or if he wants to get coaching or any of that. What do you want? What do you need in order to be productive and present and healed and whole in this relationship? You got to ask yourself. Stop depending and waiting on other people to validate your choice and your decision. Okay. That's all. I'm going to get off of here. I just wanted to encourage you to really, to understand that you can't control the outcome. You can't control how other people react, how they interpret, how they perceive. You can't control any of that stuff. Just know what you are expecting. Know what you're wanting. What's your goal? What are you working toward? What are you trying to resolve? Focus on what you can do and don't focus about, I want the end result. It's a day-by-day, step-by-step process. Because remember, if you're not doing anything productive, if you're not taking any actions, next year going to come and go, and it's just going to be another year where you're miserable, where you're hurting, where you're angry, where you're still dealing with triggers negatively. Because triggers don't ever go away. But the way you respond to them should change. It shouldn't be a negative reaction. So I hope this has encouraged you. Be sure to share with a friend. Maybe you kind of stumbled up on it, but you're like, okay, that ain't my lot in life. Praise God. But you know somebody, because it hits 1 in 2.7 couples. Almost 1 in 3 couples hits. Infidelity hits them. So if it ain't you, you know somebody. So share the encouragement with them. Tag, subscribe, all that stuff that you do on social media. Thank you for tuning in. This is Dr. Katrina Esau, the creator and founder of Whole, Wives Healing Openly, Leaving Him Exalted. Have an awesome day.